All right, today in our video, we're going to talk about the concept of average cost, marginal cost, and marginal revenue. Now, I've got a spreadsheet developed here for you, and I'm going to go over some things that you're going to have to do this analysis. The first is I'm looking at stocking rates, and I've got numbers of steers that I can provide into an area to feed and take care of and grow, and then, of course, sell. Now, what I'm going to sell is I'm going to sell final hundredweight pounds. That's a cut weight, it's called, which is 100-pound increments of product. And so with 10 steers, I'm going to get 7,200 pounds or 72 cut weight. So anyway, this example just is a basic concept of I've got numbers of steers I'm going to put out, and they're going to give me so much product to sell. Now, to get that done, there's going to be two types of cost involved, and we've already gone over these in your budgeting, but they're going to be total fixed cost and total variable cost. So to do any analysis that I'm showing you today, you're going to have production, and then you're going to have relevant cost, and it's best to be able to split that between fixed and variable. Now, these are very likely all different production alternatives that we have information on. So sometimes the budgets that we went over earlier in the semester give us maybe one of these rows. And then if you can take that concept and say, well, what if I had more head? Then you can maybe build the next level, or sometimes there'll be a budget at that level. Well, what about a stocking rate of this? What would that cost to get done? And so usually if you have two or three different budget items, you can build kind of a lower level and a higher level, and you can end up with this same situation. So the one I have for you today is the one we're going to use to go through the next steps. So anyway, when you do cost analysis, you always need, again, number one, a output quantity, and number two, you need cost to get that finished. And we usually want to split those costs into two types. That's fixed and variable. All right, so once we get started on this, now I've got in gray the things that you would calculate. And so the things that we're going to calculate are going to be total cost, which is going to be all our costs added together. So this is simply going to be a formula of fixed cost plus variable cost. And that's how we'll get that done. Now, average fixed cost is going to be exactly what it is. It's going to be the total fixed cost divided by the quantity that we are looking to measure, and that's going to be beef output. We could base it on number of steers, but we don't really sell steers. We sell beef product, so that's going to be our basis. All right, next we're going to move to is average total cost. That's just going to be total cost, again, divided by quantity. And then marginal cost, and that's kind of a newer concept, and then marginal revenue we'll go over in a second. All right, well, marginal cost is going to be the focus of change. In fact, marginal, the term marginal equals change. So another way to look at cost is going to be average, which gives you a number, but marginal gives you a better number because marginal is looking at the change in total cost, and then it's going to divide that. So I'm going to put a line underneath that to show you that's division. So we're going to look at change in total cost divided by change in the quantity that we produce. So really what you're getting here is not the value at a particular decision level, but you're getting the value from going to this level to the next level. So in marginal cost, when we do this analysis, we typically mark out the first row because you're looking at the change from here to here, and that's going to incur you a cost from here to here. And so the question is, what does that look like? So really, as far as superior analysis, marginal is always the one that people try to get to because marginal analysis is the concept of change. And so it's what if analysis, like what if I go to the next level? And that's really where we start to get some really good answers. But to get this done, we need to know a lot of information before. All right, so let's go ahead and calculate some of these, and I'm going to hold marginal revenue to the end. All right, so I'm using Excel to do this. You could use a calculator as well, but this is faster and the way I'd like you to learn how to do this. And so here we are at our average fixed cost. So I press the equal sign, and I say, all right, well, what I need total fixed cost, which is always there. That's the idea of fixed cost, divided by what I produce, which is nothing right now. So it's going to give us kind of a goofy answer, of course. But we take that formula and just copy and paste it all the way down, and then go ahead and hit 2 decimal points to probably help us see this better. And I'm going to take this area divided by 0 and just mark it out. And actually, you know what? There is an average fixed cost. I'm going to plug it in. It's $5,000. So when we look at what it cost on average for us to produce nothing, it costs on average flat $5,000. All right, if we keep producing, it makes sense because now once we start producing, this fixed cost doesn't change. So our production means $69.44 a hundred in beef production is what it's going to cost us. But if we'll produce more, that'll drop down to 33.78. And I should put on all of these a dollar value because these are all dollar values here. And so I should put that formatting on there. Okay, there we go. All right, so it's going to cost us, and just in fixed cost, if we produce very little, $33.78, but that's better than the $69.44 or better than the $5,000. So from a fixed cost perspective, the more you produce, you can see the cheaper it gets. That's also called economies of scale. And so the idea of in economics is they talk about that is called economies of scale, meaning that the larger you are, the less it costs. But that's only from a fixed cost perspective. All right, let's go with average total cost. Well, equal sign starts our formula, and I go grab my total cost and I divide it by my output. And again, we end up with a not able to be solved answer, but there's our formula. Just copy it down. And so turn all those into dollars, and there we are with what it cost. And of course, what it cost in the very beginning is still $5,000 because we haven't produced anything yet. So variable cost doesn't start yet because we haven't produced yet. That's what variable cost is, which we've talked about. So when you start producing, you end up getting, again, that economies of scale starts to happen. And so if we start producing, we drop our cost. Now, we are incurring new variable cost every time, but our unit cost goes from $138 per hundred down to $188, then $84, so $82. But then look what happens. Somehow, at some point, when we start to try to produce more and more, our variable costs increase at a higher rate. Remember, fixed cost is flat, but our variable costs start increasing. And so you end up with costs that do no longer go down. They start to go up. And so we can see those go to 84, 86, and 89. Now, these areas of cost, even though they're going up, if you're selling beef for $90 a hundred, then these values aren't a problem for you because you're producing more and more and you're still making money on every pound you sell, which if you sell more pounds, that means more overall profit. So these are all per unit values, but they give us an indication. Now, when we look at cost of production, that's the first thing I want to share with you. Fixed cost, average fixed cost unit goes down as we produce more. Average total cost will drop into a point, but then at some high level of production, our average cost actually starts to rise again. So these are important factors to look at in any business. All businesses work this way. When you start producing, you're going to be effective. And when you keep producing and try to reach higher levels, it's finally going to start costing you more. But you may still want to do it because you get more revenue per unit. So you're always trying to maximize profit. All right, now really to get to the bottom line of profit, marginal cost will step us into that. So let's write this formula, equals. Now I'm going to put a parentheses because I need to look at the change in total cost. So what did total cost do? Well, I slide over here and it is right there. It started out here, but I'm going to hit subtract, but it came from that level. So I'm going to close the parentheses and that gives me my change in total cost. Now I'm going to hit the division symbol. And I need to start a parentheses again. If you don't use the parentheses, Excel will not know which order of math to perform. And so we need the parentheses to help us. So next is the change in quantity. So I slide across, and in pounds of production, we got to this level, and we came from, in this case, 0. So I close parentheses and hit enter. And it's going to tell me that that is going to then be a cost of $68.75 to move from 0 to the first level. It's going to cost me $68.75. Well, if I'm selling beef for, let's say, back again at $90 a hundred, then I'm going to say, yep, I'm going to do that. That is going to make sense to me. If I'm going to gain a $90 per hundred, it's going to cost me $68 to get that done. I'm going to do that every time. Now I'm going to go ahead and use copy and paste because that's going to, again, move my formulas all the way down to the bottom. And so what you can see is economies of scale starts to happen in the very beginning, like the other levels of average, fixed, and total showed us. So we're going to go from $68 to be $65 a hundred. And so, of course, we're going to do that again. I'm using my same example. We're getting $90 a hundred to sell this stuff. So that's perfect. All right, the next level is to go to the next level, which for me is 225 pounds, 30 head. So to go to this next level, it's going to cost me $64.29. I'm still getting 90. I'm going to keep going. Let's go to the next level. Next level is 40. Now that's going to be a cost of $70.71. Now if I'm getting $90 a hundred, some of you might stop and say, hey, we're making more money back at the previous level. However, you're not feeding very many steers and you're missing a concept. The concept is that maximum profit is always going to be when marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost. Now, marginal revenue is equal to the price of our product. And so in this case, if I am getting $90 a unit, and I'm only getting the cost of 70. Now, you might like the 64, but remember, you only got 30 head out there, so you're not making very much. If we go to the next level, it'll cost us a little more to make that move, but we're still getting more revenue back than cost. And the key is we are feeding more steers and getting more pounds. All right, so $70, then it's fine. Let's go to the next level. 76, now I know the cost is going up. Economies of scale is starting to not happen anymore, but it does not matter because I'm producing more quantity and I'm still making money on each one. That puts more money in your pocket. So let's go to the next level at 82.50. Well, still making 90, so that's going to be good for me. Now, if I go to this next level, finally, I hit 90. So it's going to cost me $90 to get to a level where I can still get the $90 in value. So sometimes we might want to call that break even, but that's not. When marginal cost and marginal revenue equal, that is maximum profit. All right, so that is actually what we're trying to look for. So at this point right here, I'm thinking, hey, that's a pretty good idea. Now, what is marginal revenue? Well, marginal revenue is just that price I've been talking about. So it's going to be just $90 all the way down. So if we're going to say we get $90 for our product, then we're going to get $90 at every level. The question is, which level do you want to go to? So where is maximum profit? Well, you can see there, I've got $68 in cost. I've got 65 in cost to get 90, 64 to get 90, 70 is still getting 90. I keep going. 76, I know cost is going up, but I'm still getting more revenue back and I've got more quantity. So that's more money in my pocket. Keep going. 82, I hate that, but still making money. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to get to this level right here and I'm going to say that somewhere between those 2 points, somewhere between 60 and 70, that got me to this level. Somewhere between here, so let me kind of highlight that as a special area. I'm going to highlight both of them because remember, you're looking at change here. So somewhere between these two levels, these maximize. So we're going to call this maximum profit. All right, so when we look at average cost analysis, we do know some things. When we are at this level, we know it is costing us about $83.47 to get a pound sold on average. We are selling at 90, so there's definitely profit there. When we get to this next level, our cost is only $84.95, so it appears like we're still making money. The trouble is it's not worth that move. That change is only bringing us $99. And so if you just look at average total cost, those values right there, they don't really always share with us where our maximum profit is. Really the value is marginal cost and marginal revenue. All right, so hopefully this video helps understand the process. Make sure to take a look at the homework and you can do the problem yourself and get that submitted. Thanks.